Hey guys, in this video I just share with you one of my clients that hadn't had a cut in a long time. She wanted to keep her hair long but needed a great shape. So in this video I am sharing with you how I created a beautiful long layered cut on her. As always, I always start every haircut by mapping it out. And in this instance I've already established with her what length she's wanting. Before I parted it off here in the center, I was asking her, where do you part your hair at? That's so important to ask your clients. And in this situation, she's more of just kind of a laid back gal. So she just kind of lets her hair talk to her every day. And so if it wants to part on the right or the center or the left, she's happy with that. So I decided to map it out with the center part. The first thing I'm doing here is establishing her length. Now, she does want to keep her length, but as when I was looking at it, I could see that on the bottom, I could kind of see through it. So I took about maybe 2 inches off. But here I'm just kind of taking one full section. Her hair is not super thick, and it's on the finer texture. So it's very easy for me to just kind of take a straight across section for my guide to create her perimeter. Now I choose to use a sitting stool to get eye level with my work. If you're cutting hair behind the chair, taking care of your body is so important. And if I were standing up, I'd have to bend over quite a lot to get to be able to see her where I'm cutting. A lot of the new chairs these days, they don't pump up as high. So I choose to use a styling stool. In that last little bit, you saw me have that hair in my hand. What I like to do with my clients is just show them the length that I cut off. This helps put them at ease while I'm cutting their hair to know that I'm not cutting too much off. Now in this portion of it, I had the camera. I'm a solo stylist, so I don't have a lot of options on where to place my camera. And where I have it placed, you were looking at my back most of the time. So here I am cutting her face frame. And what I wanted to put in here is the part where you see me kind of shifting from one side to the other. She wanted a face frame, but not like really short, and her hair's long. So by me shifting my body from one side to the other, if you notice, I move her face, I move my body. It just really helps keep me from having a lot of body fatigue, from having to move my body in weird positions. When you can use your hands and use your body and move yourself and move your client so that your body's in a better position, you're going to thank me 10 years from now. Your body's going to thank you. So here you can see I'm using my fingers as a shelf. Anyway, I'm just checking for accuracy there. So once I've established the perimeter and length and put a nice face frame in there, then it's time to establish my layers. So the first thing that you see me doing here is I'm pulling the hair straight up to create my layers, but this is going to create a guide all the way around so that I don't get lost in my haircut. Notice my fingers are kind of angled slightly at a diagonal, where it's shorter in the front and longer in the back. When we were talking about her layers in the consultation, she wanted a lot more movement around the face and not as many layers in the back. But she didn't say no layers. She wants movement in the back, and you're going to get that a lot behind the chair where your clients say, I want layers, but not too much. I want more. I want a lot of movement around the face, but I want to still keep it thick around the perimeter. A lot of density there, but I want to have some movement, but I don't want it to be too much. So by me angling my fingers where I'm bringing shorter to longer, it enables me to do that. So I create, the very top section, I took enough hair on either side of that center part so that when I pulled it down and reparted it down the center, I had enough hair on either side as a guide. So now I'm taking that length that I established on the top right there at the crown, And now I'm going to carry that through the back. And if you notice, I'm taking a lot of hair from either side. That way, when I part it down the center, I'll have enough hair on either side of the parting to have a guide. Also notice my elevation on the hair. I'm pulling it up and letting everything below the occipital bone fall out. Because her hair is finer and because she really wants to maintain the thickness and density in the exterior of the hair, by me elevating it up and letting everything fall, I'm only cutting in the interior of the head shape, which is above the occipital and the parietal ridge. Now there I was just showing you the sectioning that I'm taking. I reparted it down the side now that I have a guide all the way around. And in the back where the head is rounded there in the crown, I'm using pie-shaped sectioning. So really I have a traveling guide that I'm taking with me, but that one center piece is going with me to every single section that I have, just so that I don't cut it shorter on the top. And I'm maintaining my elevation, and I'm only taking enough hair with each section, as you can see, so that more of a guide and a little bit of a section that I'm going to cut, so that I can see my guide and I don't get lost in the haircut. Now, once you get to the place where the ear is, that's when you start. I'm starting to take vertical sections and, again, a traveling guide. They're, again, maintaining the elevation of the hair so that I don't cut into the perimeter of the hair. Clients with long hair, that's a big deal with them, especially when they have fine hair. If you layer it too low below the in the exterior of the head shape, which is, by the way, if you want to figure out how to find that, you just lay the comb on the side of the head and just kind of lay it flat, and then wherever it comes off the head where you can bend it, that's the parietal ridge, that's the widest part of the head, and that's what separates the interior from the exterior. And if you have a client that wants layers but they want to maintain thickness and density in the exterior of the hair, then you want to make sure that you're not cutting below that parietal ridge. Now here, as you notice, I come around to the frontal bone, it's rounded again, so I did go back to the pie sectioning. Now once I've established my layers, go back in opposite of the direction that I was cutting vertically. Now I'm going in horizontal, kind of with the shape of the head, and I'm checking for balance, checking for any lines, making sure that I'm on target and my layers are all even. Notice my body position as well. I started in the center and I worked my way to the front of the head. So if my client were facing the mirror, I have her facing the camera so you can see, but my body is, the back of my body would be to the mirror. And then when I come back to the center, the front of my body will face the mirror. This does two things. At first, keeps you accurate on your cutting. You know, you're always cutting with your from shorter to longer. I'm not having to get into a contorted position to be able to cut the hair. And it also helps me with my body fatigue. So I'm not having to raise my arms so much. I'm not having to, move my arms in a place that's very tiring. Don't be afraid to move your clients. They're there getting their hair cut, yes, and they're there to relax, but it makes them feel more, have more confidence in you and at ease in you cutting their hair when you take control of the situation. Notice how I take each section, I'm using the wider part of the comb to make my partings, and I separate, I comb away the hair that I'm not cutting. This way, all I'm focused on is exactly what I'm cutting, my guide and my section. That way, I never get lost in my haircut. And if you start practicing working cleanly like this, you're going to find it so much easier for you to do your cutting, and you're not going to get lost in your layers. Notice as I come to the side of the head, now it's flat. I'm again using a traveling guide, vertical sections, but right here you can see it. I'm moving into the frontal bone, which is more rounded. Notice how I start with a pie section. This just really is going to be different on each head, but this ensures you not to cut off any hair that you created in that beautiful face frame. And now going back in like I did on the opposite side, going back in opposite of the way I was cutting and just checking for balance and how clean you are on your layers. This is super simple, you guys. This is a great layering technique for your clients that have fine hair that want their hair to look thick but want to have movement in their hair. Now I just wanted to show a little bit of some blow drying tips for you here. Now her hair being fine, I work behind the chair and I use a product line called 7. And I use a product called Boost, and that is just something that kind of gives texture to fine hair, but it also kind of plumps it up so it feels a little bit thicker. And you notice as I'm round brushing the hair wants to grip the brush. That's what the product's doing here. Now, one of the reasons I hold it in the brush is because hot air moves it, cold air sets it. So what I mean by that is your hair looks like shingles on a roof. The outside is like shingles on a roof, and you want to lay those flat. That's why I'm using a nozzle on the dryer, and you can see how I'm going with the hair to keep it closed. I'm not touching the hair with the nozzle because it's too hot. It would burn the hair. But I'm doing this until the hair's dry. Also notice the elevation of my brush. I'm holding it way up high because I want a lot of volume in there. But by heating it up and then holding it in the brush and rotating it till it's cool, sets it. And you can see here how the layers have more movement around the face. She has some layer and movement in the back, but it's still nice and thick on the bottom. What a beautiful change. Hey guys, if you liked this video, be sure to like and follow. If you are a hairstylist, be looking for my membership coming and become an on-pointer. Thank you so much for watching and happy hair cutting. And I always say, remember your work, it's not about you. It's about how you make your clients feel. Happy hair cutting, everybody. And thanks again for watching.